Let's go Knicks. The streets are buzzing. The Knicks take game 1 in Boston. Overtime classic. 108-105. Down 20. A heroic comeback. And a run that we'll never forget as the New York Knicks are in this series. And they punch first with the victory, man. Heroes abound. As Jalen Brunson went ham, caught fire late. Grittiness from heart all game. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges came to play. Wingstop was serving all you can eat in Beantown, and the New York Knicks have a lead in the series. Let's talk about it. Knicks family. What a game, man. What a game. And Jalen Brunson had a chance to win it in regulation. The banker rimmed out. But the Knicks defense got it done. The Knicks defense stepped it up. And man, what a performance from our guys in this one. And Bridges, big corner splash as well. Man, heroes abound. How many minutes did Bridges play? 51 minutes. That got to be a record, man. Hit 2 of the biggest shots of his career. And hey, I'm not surprised we pulled out a win. I'm really not. How the game went was obviously crazy. 20 points down. You know, it's the little things that keep you in the game. You know, the little things, heart, hustle, kept us in it all the way. And we're absolutely lit right now. Will Salkin says New York gets the first knockdown. We got a puncher's chance right now. Yeah, you could tell they didn't want to take a 3 anymore. It's unbelievable when you take Porzingis out of their team. You take Sam Hauser out of their team as well. And they went cold. But the Knicks were just getting rebounds. The Knicks missed so many free throws, man. The Knicks missed 14 free throws. And we still won the game. Let that sink in. Man, the Knicks got no points from Campaign or Precious. 3 points from Mitch. 11 points from Deuce. And it was still enough to win the game, man. Foul trouble bedeviled us. Crappy officiating. We're going to talk about that, of course. But the New York Knicks, breaking news, have the lead in the series now. And we have home court advantage, man. We snatched back home court advantage. And, you know, never discount the fight and the heart of our guys. I mean, they executed down that stretch of the late fourth, overtime. That's some of the best basketball this team has played all season, man. Maybe we've saved the best till last. Like Buzzer Beater says, man, you know what it is. Hashtag, it's money time. And when you have a closer like Jalen, you know, anything is possible. Fam? Eric says we've got to give credit to Tibbs. Absolutely. Top to bottom. You know, great schematic, you know, adjustments late on the switching. The Knicks weren't having to scramble too much. No more hard hedging. It was just switching. Just tooth and nail, man. Just blood, guts, whoever wanted it the most. So many times Brunson was switched onto a big, and he was holding his own. And the Knicks didn't get a whistle in this one as well. I thought OG got clocked. You know, Hart was getting clocked. How about giving, you know, Derek White that jump ball, man? He had the ball for like less than, you know, a microsecond, and they give him a, you know, they give him the timeout. That was crazy, man. We should have got the jump ball on that one, man. No block party, but MSG party tonight, man. The crowd was going absolutely crazy. And the New York Knicks pulled out and shocked the world in this one, man. If they don't already know, they're in for a fight. Now they know, man. None of this sweep 5, you know. The New York Knicks are alive right now. And we have the best closer. The best closer in the East. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Be proud to be a New York Knicks fan right now. Because Jason Tatum on his home turf did not close it out. And Jalen Brunson closed it out for us together with the guys, man. Emmanuel, salute. PH, salute. Chris Gotti, Drew, Tony, Rye, what's good, Georgie. coach in the building, Tendrell, Eric, Jimmy, Daniel, and we've got Buzzer Beater, Lily Phillips, Flizzy Flex, let's go, Johnny. Man, what a performance. What a game, man. I'm going to have so much fun giving out these game balls. Dermot, what's good? Cardiac, what's good? Hart, man. Hart has to get a game ball in this one. 5 of 9, 11 rebounds, man. 5 offensive, 14 points, +5, 2 steals, 3 assists. Man, Hart is the first guy that needs a mention. Because when we were down and out, Josh Hart was that guy. Man, he kept us in it with his hustle play. He's really banged up right now, is Josh Hart. We bring up the team stats and also the wire to wire, man. How pretty does that look, ladies and gentlemen, man? An absolute polar opposite of the final Detroit game, which is absolutely crazy, right? Look at this Detroit game that the New York Knicks led basically most of the game. And here we are. I flip it over to the first game, and the roles were reversed in this one, man. You see all green, and the Boston Celtics had a 20-point lead, but the New York Knicks never say die attitude, right? No quit, all grit, close knit, ladies and gentlemen. 31-11 run. That's the best run of the New York Knicks season, up against, arguably the best team in the NBA. It's adrenaline right now flowing. We're lit. I'm looking forward to the rest of this series, man. You see the neutrals perking up. The haters are perking up. We got everybody perked up right now. New York Knicks, that's what we do, ladies and gentlemen. We fight tooth and nail. There were some, major Celtics accounts that were still giving the Knicks credit. Guys saying, look, Jalen Brunson, we can't get ahead of ourselves. We got to execute. And the New York Knicks came out and punched after halftime. After the major run that the Celtics and they went on the lead they got, the New York Knicks fought back. Man, what a performance from our guys. We look at the stats. The New York Knicks 10 steals to 4. That stands out a lot. Only 12 turnovers to Boston's 13. That stands out a lot. Field goal percentage, 42%, limiting Boston to just 35%. That's big time. 45% from downtown, man. Jalen Brunson. Wide open in many occasions. Nice two-man game with Josh Hart. Those two closing it out late with the screen and roll. I was loving that, man. Getting Brunson switched onto Al Horford. There was plenty of mismatches abound, and the New York Knicks were on the favorable side, man. How does Brunson get a wide open 3 for that one on the baseline, man? I told y'all the Celtics are vulnerable, man. Brown, Tatum, they're fabulous offensive players, but they don't really want to get gritty. They don't want to get grimy and have to do the defending. And that's what they're going to have to do, because the New York Knicks have got weapons for days, man, right now. If we just hit our free throws, this game could have been obviously over earlier. But you can also say on the flip side, if you're on the Boston side of things, how many games are they going to shoot 25% from 3? So it was super, super, super important that the New York Knicks won tonight and won this game, because we don't know how many games Boston are only going to shoot 25% from downtown. And when this thing went to overtime, I felt like we'd still win, but I felt like, man, we may have missed an opportunity to close them out in regulation. But no, man, overtime was unbelievable. Georgie says, CT, if the Knicks play at that level of D for all 4 quarters instead of waiting for the 4th, we would have win. Yep, no doubt about it, man. Ken Tott says, watching the Knicks feels like 1999 again. We're suffocating defense in the 4th. Lonnie says, proud of my guys, showed heart. David, great win. We're just hoping it would be competitive, and I'm ecstatic right now, man. Beliefs is set in, man, and I've preached about it all season, man. Our road record is amazing, and I felt like coming out of that hostile environment in Detroit straight to a hostile environment in Boston, it kind of didn't allow our guys to get comfortable. If we had to go back to MSG and then hit the road, I think, there's something in that. There's something to that because, you closed it out, gritty, hostile environment in Detroit. You take that lunch pail into Beantown. And look, we started the game strong. I thought the first quarter, you can't ask for a better start. We missed some free throws and all of that. But I guess Boston's where I'm really looking at this game right now, guys, and where the game swung was that Boston they were on the wrong end of their own tactics because they were muddying it up. Hacker Mitch trying to, get an edge, an advantage in a way that they probably didn't need to do, but nevertheless, they tried to exploit the Hacker Mitch. It was effective in building a lead. It was effective getting separation, getting the New York Knicks out of their comfort zone. But at the same time, it came back to hurt them late because they were out of rhythm, 25% from downtown. And that completely, switched the game up, And so, look, they reap what they sow right now. And the New York Knicks caught fire, baby. 45% from downtown. The Brunson burner was knocking it down in the face of Jason Tatum. Man, we're going to start to give out these grades. First up, and multiple game balls. Smash that like button. It's great to have you with us. If you're a neutral, a diehard New York Knicks fan with us, obviously if you're on the Celtics side as well, this is going to be a fun series right now. But yeah, we're going to go through our biggest plays of the night. What are some potential adjustments from game 2? Because the Celtics are going to be sweating, man. They're going to be reeling. If the Knicks can just stay tight in game 2, this thing could go 7 right now. I predicted 6, right? I predicted this series going 6. Some of the people predicted 7 right now. But let's talk about the injuries from the Boston Celtics side. No injuries on the Knicks front. Obviously some knickknacks and bruises. But on the Celtics side, we have Porzingis unable to return early in this game due to illness, non-COVID illness. So we don't know what's up with that yet. Sam Hauser had to leave this game as well. A closeout on a 3-point attempt from OG. They collided knees, and so Sam Hauser wasn't able to return as well. And I thought that was a loss for Boston as well. But when it's mono, man versus man, whoever they got left versus who the Knicks have left right now, the Knicks were battle tested. Shout out to the Detroit Pistons as well, keeping us battle tested. A lot of people, thought that we should have ended that series earlier. You got to give credit to Boston, to Pistons. You never look down on an opponent right now. All these guys are in the playoffs right now, man, and it's the best versus the best. Our best prevailed, man. Hart, Brunson were absolutely heroic in this one. As the New York Knicks trailed by 16 at the half. Right, what a comeback. Big Dave says fragile KP. Alepa don't change at spots, man. He's always questionable. You have to count for that. That's what I was saying in my preview, man. Angel says KP going out helped. Yep. Cat's foul trouble will hurt us in the long term if he can't tighten that up. Yep, he has to tighten that up. Bob's in the house. Let's go. Freeway Hustler says refs couldn't save them from the clutch. God. Yep. He's battle tested, man. They're talking about Cade Cunningham was the best player in the last series, man. That's embarrassing. Those takes right now. Yeah, Sam Hauser sprained his ankle. Appreciate you, Georgie, on that one. Look, this could be last man standing, this series, man. Both teams throwing haymakers at each other right now. So yeah, I like the Knicks limited their turnovers. If I had told you that Boston had more turnovers than the Knicks in game 1, I would say, great, we have a chance. Then if I told you Boston shot 25% from 3, I'd be like, we here. And if I told you that the Knicks shot 45% from 3, I'd say, did we win? And absolutely we won, man. Despite shooting 54% from the stripe, the Knicks won points in the paint. The New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, won fast break points, right? on the road in a hostile environment, the New York Knicks beat Boston in fast break points. So Tom Thibodeau coached a great game in this one. The Knicks controlled the tempo as well. The Knicks were in the game. They were spamming the cat post ups. It came back to bite us a little bit, but with some turnovers and cat forcing it. But it started great. It got us the lead briefly, and it kept us in the game. Early in this one. And shout out to Deuce McBride. We're going to start giving out these grades, but our major guy off the bench, 11 points, man. Deuce is back. Deuce is back, baby. 3 of 6 from downtown is huge, man. He left that funk in Detroit. He brought his game over to Boston. And this is the Deuce Miles McBride that we love, man. 4 of 8 from the field as well. 2 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and 11 points, man. That was the spark that we needed. But yeah, really balanced scoring from the starters, you know. Before we hit on the first grade, man, obviously the officiating, I'm not going to talk about it too much. Boston were expected to get, a whistle. But man, it's calls like this that have you scratching your head, right now, man. Cat was like, barely in his space, man. That was JT moving up into Cat's space on that one. Of course, no one's going to call JT, a flopper and a foul baiter, but at the end of the day, the Knicks were at a disadvantage, at a handicap because of the officiating, getting Cat in that foul trouble early as well. And the hacker Mitch got Boston in trouble as well because they had too many guys, with fouls to their name, and they weren't able to sort of get into a rhythm, But the second half started beautifully, man. Started with a 9-0 run, and it was timeout Boston, right? It was Hart and it was Brunson keeping us in it. Let's flip over to the first grade of the night, man. And we're going to dial up the game ball. But Josh Hart, man, what a performance, man. One of the best performances of his career. You had Reggie, couldn't even hate on him on the call. You had people singing out his praise for his hustle. He's banged up. Is Jay Hart. He gets the first game ball in this one. He kept us in this game, man. His fast break play. He wasn't shy. He wasn't scared. He was confident. Let's see his numbers. I don't even know if he had many turnovers. I think only 1 turnover to 3 assists. So, you take that. 5 of 9, 14 points and a +5 with 5 offensive rebounds, right? But did miss 3 free throws. Knocked down 1 of 5 from downtown. So, yeah, look, there's plenty of things we can clean up. Obviously, things are going to get correct because Boston aren't going to shoot this poorly. But if we can hit our free throws better, and Mitch can still be a factor, because I don't think they're going to stop playing Mitch. He's just going to have to knock down those free throws, right? But we will talk about that later. Obviously, we're going to give Hart the first flower of the night, and that's an A+ game, right? He went into Beantown and was one of the best players on the court tonight. Was Josh Hart, man, the glue guy, a role player they call him. We call him Lionheart in this one. He's a playoff riser, right? No money, no statistics can measure the heart of a lion right now, because when the stage is bright, he comes to play. There's Josh Hart, man. CT, Tibbs coached his ass off, says Buzzer Beater. I mean, there's no other way to say it, Buzzer. I mean, the Knicks pulled out the win, game 1. Right now, great execution, but he pushed some buttons and the players executed, and, in giving this praise, I'm kind of thinking that the 3 days, was key. Anytime the Knicks have had a little break, they've come out pretty strong. 3 days, there was, a day of recovery after closing out Detroit. The Knicks got back to the practice facility. They watched some film. They developed a scheme, a plan. It wasn't working at some point in the second quarter, but things, went against us, such as the officiating, but the Knicks just stayed in it, man. You heard Mitchie mic'd up. Mitchie was rallying the troops as well, says, we've been here. We've been here before, and we stay in the game, and they let us back into it. We fought our way back as well, man. But Hart, what a performance, man. Even this rebound, like he was contesting, and Jaylen Brown had to account for him, man. He crashed the glass, tipped it to Cat. Little things like this, man. Some of them don't even show up on the box score because, Cat gets the putback. But this was a huge play as the Knicks were making that big run. Brown grabs that rebound if Hart doesn't crash that glass, man. I need some Mike and Ikes, man, because that guy's motor is crazy. Chipotle, all of the things that fuels Hart, man, his motor just never quits right now, man. We ain't talking about minutes right now. You just win. Do whatever it takes to win. And Josh Hart did that. Big Dave says Hart was everywhere. We want to see some more pick and roll, says PH, between JB and Cat. Freeway says the refs called carry, bro. Yep. Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't see the replay on that one, fam. But CC New York grit. Yep. We've got some things to correct. Precious gave us some minutes. I didn't think they were that effective. However, considering we needed a big body, he's next in line. I kind of felt like he wouldn't put Huck Bority out there. That'd be tough on the rook. I did think that it would be, Precious as the next man up, but I didn't think game one. But he got the opportunity and he stepped up. But the shot making was just incredible. 45% from downtown in this one. We have to give the next grade to the captain, man. The closer, the clutch player of the year, the best closer in the league right now. And he plays for us, right? He plays for us right now. Boston wish they had a player like that. Let's call a spade right now. They've got a lot of talent, but nobody else has Jalen Brunson on their team, man. When we needed to hit big threes, he was on one. And Brunson finished 9 of 23. 5 of 9, though, from downtown. Incredible. 55%. I told you how key the Brunson 3 is because it opens up the space, right? They can't play drop coverage, right? When Brunson's splashing that 3, they can't play drop coverage, right now. And we're able to get downhill and cause a muck. 29 points, Brunson. He had 4 turnovers, 5 assists, but tonight he was bucket getter, Brunson, and 5 assists, 2 steals, excellent. His fight, his hustle to avoid getting the seal down low, and I thought Brunson did a fantastic job, man. He fought tooth and nail defensively and still had enough on the offensive side, man, to hit clutch bucket after clutch bucket. What an image of this one, man, over Al Horford, right? Age is catching up to Al Horford, man, and he was at full stretch, unable to impede Brunson on that one, man, and he took over the TD Garden right now. Brunson felt that he was in Madison Square Garden because he brought his clutch gene and shut these guys out right now, man. Look at the crowd, man. The stone-faced assassin, Jalen Brunson, man. He was quietening that crowd. And when Reggie Miller was getting excited, man, a part of me was like, what are we seeing here right now, man? This is a historic run. Really, it is. I know Jay Will talked about Brunson fastly becoming the greatest Knick of all time. I think the only thing that's left is winning right now. The level of play that Brunson is reaching is obviously deserving of that accolade. I still have Patrick and Willis and Clyde right ahead. But right now, like I said, the only thing missing for Jalen Brunson is winning. Once he wins a championship and continues to win with the organization in the playoffs, we are looking at potentially the future greatest Knick. of all time, man. When he puts the team on his back on the road like this and pulls out the win, that was a nod to Bernard King, to BK in this one. And there ain't a game, a moment that he can't take over right now. I didn't see a player that looked limited on any ankle. I didn't see a player that looked tired. He rose to the occasion, man. He looked like the best player on the court, when closing out the game on the road with multi-time All-Stars on the other team, right? So with that said, man, we dial up another game ball and we dial up another grade right now. With the streets buzzing, the chat's buzzing right now. Smash that like button. Appreciate you for joining us. And what an occasion. What a start to this series, Some people were down, thinking that this series is going to be a bum series. This series is going to be over early. And look, the Knicks were in a tough hole. But I guess you see now that the Knicks can be down 20. The Knicks could be down 25. The Knicks could even be down 30. And they're never out of the game, right? They're never out of the game. When they buckle down, they focus, and they get the schemes right. Obviously, it helps that Boston, lost their way, but no fault of their own, And I really think we should have closed this one out in regulation. But, at the end of the day, it's a good point to mention now that the regular season, is anybody talking about the regular season now, ladies and gentlemen? Look at these grades. Look at the game balls. Look at the chat. Is anybody talking about the regular season? The Knicks being 0-4 versus Boston? Do you really think Boston care about the 4 wins over the Knicks in the regular season? Do you really think Boston fans are thinking about opening night when they beat us by 30? No, nobody's thinking about that right now, man. They're thinking about the Knicks are up 0-1. The Knicks are up 0-1 in this series, snatched home court in the first game, right? Killers came out to ball in this one, fam. Geez, Jalen Shuttleworth, Johnny, I like that. Buzzer says JB, just buckets. Yep. Emmanuel says, I think OG and Bridges' length on the wing definitely is an issue for Boston. Yeah, I think if you ask anybody about, okay, how do you beat Boston? Most people would say first up that they're going to have to go cold. They are a high volume 3-point team, and the Knicks had to be there, to help out and make them go cold, but also capitalize. And we did that. We punched back with 3-pointers of our own, man. And that's how you beat Boston. They go cold, you go hot, and you execute defensively. Control the tempo of the game. Like I said, win the possession battle. Have less turnovers than them. Shoot a higher percentage than them. And right now, man, our role players really came to play, man. Our guys stepped up. Now, as the series goes, obviously minutes is going to play a key. But Boston ain't that deep. Ladies and gentlemen, Boston ain't that deep either. As I bring up these matchups right now, you take Sam Hauser and KP out of the occasion, man. Man, how the tables have turned right now with Sam Hauser and KP out. I mean, they're down to what? They're down to 7 men as well, man. Unless they want to dust off Torrey Craig, Keita, or Xavier Tillman. The New York Knicks have got Precious. We've got DeLon Wright, PJ Tucker. We don't know if Huck Porty, might be needed. I wouldn't rule it out due to foul trouble, etc. But I think this could be a series where the Knicks could be slightly deeper in terms of manpower. I do think Joe Mazzulla is going to lean on his vets, right? You're down 0-1. You ain't going to dust off a Torrey Craig or a Tillman, I don't think, or a Keita. You're going to just have to go with Horford. Horford will have to step in now with KP iffy. So you got Cornette, you got Pritchard. That's it right now. We'll see if Campaign can give the New York Knicks that spark as well, because that'll change things. If the Knicks can get the edge off the bench, man, we're in for an unbelievable series. in this one. Michael Drake, what's up? Great to see you. Yeah, PH says 4 straight on the road now in the playoffs. Yeah, road warriors, man. Mentally strong. Shout out to our guys, man, being down and fighting their way back. Yours truly, bless up. Mikal Bridges, you know we're going to go there next, right? We've shouted out JB. We've shouted out Josh Hart. 2 game balls right there. I'm going to keep it at 2 game balls in this one, right? But that doesn't diminish that we don't win this game without OG, without Mikal, right? And Cat contributions. But Midi Mikal, man, came to play late, finally hit a big shot, right? The fan base, the media, everyone been waiting for Mikal Bridges to hit that big shot when we needed, and Mikal Bridges arrived, man. Good defense as well late. Obviously, everyone played to their maximum, but Bridges being 2 of 5 from downtown is key. 6 rebounds, 7 dimes, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 5 stocks. Man, 8 points plus 3, right? Modest offensive game, but 2 big threes, man. But 5 stocks with 7 dimes and 6 rebounds. That's activity. That's production from Midi Mikal. And look, some people could, lean into giving him a game ball because definitely his play, his imprint was all over this game. And he was definitely a glue guy. G-Man, what's up? CC says Bridges was the glue in this one. David says Mikal ripping that ball away from Brown was fire. Yeah, most def, man. They only had 1 second left. And so I didn't feel like they were going to be able to do too much. The Knicks were going to have to foul immediately. But clutch play, beautiful, acknowledgement from Mikal, to strip Jaylen Brown in that one, man. And just a big time performance from Mikal Bridges, right, in the clutch, right? He's going to get an A. He's going to get an A for this performance, man. And this is going to silence some of the hate, as the New York Knicks were the best team in overtime, right? They weren't rattled, I think the crowd went quiet. The crowd was kind of nervous, man. When they caught when they caught the Jalen Brunson fire, they're like, man, we are up against a good team right now, man. Ain't nobody taking the Knicks lightly now, man. I can't wait to watch out the reaction from the Boston side of things. Yeah, all the intangibles. Johnny says Tibbs needs to teach rebounds 101. Boxing out was key from Hart. The activity was key, but no doubt, I think free throws we have to get better at, man. I know we're a good 3-point shooting team. We got the shooters, man. I think they're confident now. They're confident with the rims. We can come out loosey goosey, man, in game 2. Can't wait to preview game 2. We'll be back on live tomorrow night as well, as the dust settles on this big win, right? No time to really celebrate too much because we have the chance to do something super special right now. You have taken home court away from Boston, and we have the horses now to win this series, right? If you don't believe that the Knicks can win this series now after this game, then you're probably overly pessimistic. Is it going to be easy? Absolutely not. Boston are, they're the reigning champs, and they are going to come back. They are going to fight back. You expect them to come out hell for leather and try to win game 2, right? And go back to MSG with a split. But like I said, the Knicks can play loosey-goosey. We can maybe experiment some things, and we obviously need to clean up some of these things, such as the free throws, fam. Think about if Mitchie could just shoot 65, 70% from the stripe. We'd be in a great situation. They would avoid the hacker Mitchie with that situation. But man, I was out of my seat with some of these plays. OG Anunoby is next up, man. That play from Mikal Bridges falling out of bounds. Shout out to him once again. And what a play. And OG Anunoby getting downhill where he's dangerous. That's where I want to see OG, man, because you're making Jason Tatum have to defend. I talked about that in my preview. Every single player on that Boston Celtics team has to defend when we're getting stops because we're getting out on the break. We're getting out in transition, and the Boston Celtics players have to pick up a man. And OG was the benefit of this one, as Jason Tatum didn't know who to pick up. Right? Are they going to go to Brunson? Yeah, all the gravitas went to Brunson, and OG leaked for the big jam, fam. We take a look at OG's numbers, man. The wing stopper, he slowed down Tatum in this one. OG was 10 of 20, 50% from the field. He was 6 of 11 from downtown, a whopping 55%. 3 of 4 from the stripe, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 29 points. OG Anunoby, man, was absolutely phenomenal in this one. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he deserves a game ball. He really does, man. And I can't deny the man. I can't deny the man of a game ball. Just absolutely phenomenal from OG Anunoby, and he's going to get an A+ and a game ball, man. 54% from downtown, 50% from the field. Activity personified, man, using his strength on both sides, but the ball was moving as well, and we made it difficult for Boston to really defend us. That's the lineup that Leon Rose has assembled, and when you're getting stops, it just makes everyone else feel better on the other side. Buzzer, man, what are the inside the NBA guys saying right now, man? Yeah, well, Chuck is the villain in this one, actually. Last series, Shaq didn't give us a chance, but Shaq is actually giving us a chance in this one, to my surprise. Shaq said if Cat can give us 25 to 30 points, the Knicks have a chance. It was Chuck. It was Barkley that said this thing is going to be over in a sweep as well. So that's probably great for us, man, because he's the curse. Whenever Barkley doesn't give us a chance, we have a chance. David's on the money. OG is worth every single penny, every dime, every dollar, fam, every shout out. What a contract. What a player, man. Only 28 years old. Multiple years in his prime before he hits 30. He's built for this, man. I look forward to seeing OG, right? One thing that we know for sure right now, guys, and it sounds crazy to say, but we're going to see 5 games now. We're going to see 4 more games of this series, man. More New York Knicks basketball. We made sure that this series is not going to end in a sweep. Well, possibly the other side. However, we're definitely going to get Game 5 right now. We take a look at the schedule. Game 5 is coming at us, fam, on Wednesday. Right. We have a break between games 2 and 3. We have 2 days rest after game 2. Game 3 will be Saturday. Game 4 on Monday. And a game 5 is needed now, which will be on TNT. And that will be on Wednesday right now, fam. So let's go. Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks against all odds. Big Dave says, I've been waiting on this for Mikal all year. You and me both, fam. You and me both. I feel like maybe he's just really saving his best. He's warming up. He's a big-time player. And look, you can't discount experience. I think that's one of the things where, like I said, no one really knew when Bridges was going to bring his best because we haven't seen his best yet. But you see that situation now where, he's a guy that has been to the finals and he's heard his name dragged through the mud, and he's definitely come to play in game 1 as the Knicks win in OT right? And game balls abound. Jose says, I don't really care if Macau misses many shots, but if he's still defending as a gladiator, he will have many chances to win. We will have many chances to win in this series. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. You know, um, we're the best with the sum of our parts. Brunson's the closer, but we need other guys to really come to play, and then the defense just you know, goes in, loses their head. I literally felt like Boston's defense just lost their head, man. We were getting backdoor cuts. We were getting everything we wanted. We were getting JB switched onto Al Horford, possession after possession. Drew Holiday putting his hamstrings through the ringer. And that's what I said in my preview, guys. I said, Drew Holiday, he's been dealing with a hamstring tightness, missed the last three. That don't just go away overnight. When you have a hamstring, ladies and gentlemen, that's something you got to deal with, especially when you're having to chase a Jalen Brunson all over the court, downhill, clutch possessions right now, and Drew Holiday just couldn't switch too much. He couldn't fight all night over the Hart pick as well, and the Knicks spammed that. Credit to Tibbs, credit to Brunson, Hart, and everyone else glued in. The Knicks kept getting the switches. Yeah, Charles predicted the sweep, man, and he's eating crow right now. Altango says the Knicks defense was on point tonight. Yeah, where does that rate for you guys for the season? We took gambles, no doubt. You can't take away everything that Boston has. We were getting chewed up with some of the switches, cat and foul trouble, and obviously Boston hit some shots. They got up by 20, but then the game slowed down. We started to hit our shots, and then we started to really get back on defense, and limit their transition game. And you take away Porzingis, you take away Hauser, and Pritchard wasn't that much of a factor in this one, guys. One of the most satisfying plays for me tonight was when Pritchard basically ran into a brick wall, and I think it was Deuce that snatched the ball away from him on the ground. It was Hart or it was Deuce, and we got out and ran, man. We got out on the break when Pritchard ran into some. He was smothered in that one, man. The bench was hype. Great sign that Deuce shot well. Yeah, we're going to need more of that, no doubt about it, fam. As next up, we talk about the big bodega, right? Another mixed bag from Karl Anthony Towns, fam. But I mentioned, for those that missed it, some of the foul trouble early I felt was bogus. Cat, to his credit, was cooking early and he was in a rhythm. He was in his bag. We're seeing this a lot. The nice baseline fade. He was shooting over the top of Jaylen Brown. They don't really have a burly power forward or a center that can keep up with Cat on the block. And if they want to use Porzingis to guard Hart, that's what was happening early. But obviously Porzingis out with illness. I don't think it's serious. I would expect KP to play in game 2. But of course, we'll find out the status of KP for a game 2. The Sam Hauser thing looked a lot more worrying. We'll see how it plays out, fam. This playoffs is wide open. I don't know if you guys heard, but in the Cleveland-Indiana series, apparently Evan Mobley and, of course, Darius Garland are questionable for game 2. So they could go in a 2-game hole. The Cleveland Cavaliers against Indiana. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a long way to go, right? However, imagine if the Knicks and the Pacers somehow manage to meet in the Eastern Conference Finals, man. That would be absolutely insane. But yeah, this is the play, I think, that gave Cat his early second or third foul. You be the judge, man. You be the judge on this one. yeah, he leans forward, but then he moves slightly to the side, and Jason Tatum embellishes the contact. He goes from A to C. I feel like Cat is going from A to B, but I think Jason Tatum goes from A to C in order to get contact out of that one. Look, more so, I'm seeing a lot of frustration from the online community that the officiating just completely flipped up. Way too much from the Detroit series, the Orlando series. I mean, the Knicks and the Celtics players were frustrated because 1 minute you're allowing WWE, the next minute you're calling every single scratch fingernail scratch, which is crazy. But the Knicks were the best team that adjusted, I felt like. And a lot of their guys were in foul trouble because they were hacking a Mitch. So I think that really hurt them as well. Um, Now, Cat's grade, like I said, it was a mixed bag, but he finished quite efficient, 6 of 13. Only played 31 minutes, so he's super fresh. 13 rebounds, 4 offensive. He gave us 14 points plus 8. Used up 5 fouls, 2 turnovers, but I like the 4 offensive rebounds and knocked down both of his free throws. But when we talk about things that we can correct for Game 3, you got to look at the 3-point numbers for Cat. 0 of 1, right? Cat did not shoot a single three tonight, or did not hit a single three. And the Knicks shot 45% from downtown and won Game 1 without Cat hitting a single three tonight. So good adjustment. Got most of his points on the block. Just stay out of foul trouble and stay disciplined. And man, the New York Knicks have a chance to do something really special. And let's see how these guys adjust, fam. But yeah, there were some ups and downs from Karl Anthony Towns in this one, but he'll still get the B for me. And as a collective, man, the fact that he stayed out there on the floor and was key switching, helping the Knicks squad get stops, it was a complete effort from the team in this one. And look, his ability to pass is very underrated with Karl Anthony Towns, finding guys on the cut, right? That play where Brunson could have sealed the deal in regulation, that was a great cut and a fine from Cat as well. Perfect executed play. JB just missed that one as well. Big Dave says KP's a cupcake on D. When he ain't swishing the threes, he's definitely up and down, a liability at times. David says, I'm starting to notice that even when Cat has a bad game, he at least makes 1 or 2 critical plays. Yeah, down the stretch, he makes a big impact. Yeah, maturity. I feel like Cat's really invested. You can't question his ability to win. Cat's desire to win is key. It was quite humbling for Cat, to get traded on the eve of the season. Yeah, he found his footing because, it's New York and, it was meant to be. But no doubt, kind of like the Luka trade, he was shocked that he was traded by Minnesota. It was humbling, to be a $60 million man and get traded. However, I feel like Cat's just really taken it in his stride this season. He's bigged up the teammates. He's taken the criticism on the chin. He just has to continue to stay locked in. A lot of the talent is there, man. He has all the talent in the world. He just has to stay locked in mentally and eliminate mistakes. Eliminate turnovers. We had that shot clock situation. I think that was on the point guard as well. The teammate should have been, pushing him to get the shot up. I think he was taking a little bit too long. I thought that might come back to bite us as Boston made a mini run, but the Knicks just stuck with it. The New York Knicks stuck with it. And as we're about to talk about the coach, I thought he called some really timely timeouts tonight. Knicks Nation, Knicks Streets. Tom Thibodeau called some critical timeouts as the crowd was getting back into it. The Knicks were tied. Boston hit a three to go up three. And before the crowd got too crazy, Thibodeau called that timeout, and we managed the game. We managed the game well. We managed the game strong, fam. So without further ado, he developed a game plan. It wasn't perfect. It was up and it was down. But ultimately, you develop a game plan to try to get the win. And the game plan worked. The game plan worked. They executed it, and the New York Knicks got that win. So Thomas Thibodeau, A plus. A plus from Tom Thibodeau, the New York Knicks head coach. Let's see how the rest of the series goes, man. He's up against a bright coach, Joe Mazzulla. The series is now fully on everybody's radar. Everybody's perked up now. You know, the Knicks have shocked the world and woke people up. Let's see what happens. But for tonight, as we enjoy this win, before we look ahead, we have to give the flowers to Tom Thibodeau for helping this team get the win in game one, man. So the Knicks extend their streak of winning game ones, you know. Last season, I think we won game one. Well, I think it goes back all the way to the ATL series. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we won game one against ATL. We won game one against Miami. We won game one against Cleveland. We won game one against Philadelphia. We won game one against Indiana. We won game one against Detroit. And we win game one in this series again. Man, so I think that's a streak. I think that's a streak of New York Knicks winning game ones, ladies and gentlemen. You know, crazy. Here we are, fam. Salute Tay Tendrell, says Sir Thomas Thibodeau. Yeah, he'll get the salute tonight. He'll get the full salute, man. I think it's fitting, man, because Thibodeau won a championship with Boston as an assistant. And he goes into that building and he knows what to do. Tonight we get the win. But I think it's a big victory for the whole organization tonight. Right. Whatever happens in the rest of this series, assuming it's not a complete disaster and falls off the cliff from here, this is a big win for the front office, from the roster holding up, and the way that they stacked up against the 5-out lineups. Yeah, admittedly, Kristaps wasn't really a factor, but you know the Knicks still, nevertheless, they held themselves well and limited the impact. Man, I think Derek White was probably one of their best players, fam, and the New York Knicks just controlled this game after going down as well. Doug Fresh, salute. Yep, we tip our cap to Tibbs. Let's see how it plays out. Buzzer says to AP, he made adjustments and we won. AP says that means he's coming back. Long way to play out. But yeah, I feel like these guys have had a lot of preparation, you know, and it worked. The game plan worked. Part of me was thinking heading into this series, it's like, okay, we have lost 4 times in a row to this team in the regular season, and everybody was talking about, you know, the Knicks have no chance, you know, it's going to be a sweep. Boston have beaten this team 4 times. And that's true. But what I was thinking is, okay, you've lost to a team 4 times, but you have to have learned something, right? You learn from a good old-fashioned ass whooping. You know, when somebody beats you down, you know, you learn from that. And so what did the Knicks learn from those beatdowns? They obviously learned something. You know, they learned something. They started the game strong. The game was close up until the Hacker Mitch. Really, the Hacker Mitch kind of, you know, changed the whole flow. You know, shots weren't going down, and then Boston started to spam the, you know, well, Tatum got hot. Really, Tatum got hot from deep, and the Knicks were playing, you know, at a disadvantage with the Hacker Mitch situation, but they stuck with it, and they didn't really alter the game plan. You know, they kept switching. We got stops, and we started to run, man. We started to hit threes on them. Rye says Pacers always have the easiest path. What gives, man? I think sometimes you make your own luck as well, but yeah, you're correct. I feel like Pacers are very deep. Uh, you got to give credit to their GM. I think it's Pritchard. Kevin Pritchard is a good GM. Um, they got some dogs. Nemhard is a really up and coming. He kind of gives people the Brunson vibes, as sort of the improvement category. Nemhard, Benedict Mathurin, he's a dog as well. You could see him as being maybe an up and coming MIP sort of candidate. And then they've got Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam. They've got a good roster, man. I expected them to challenge Cleveland. They're a team that have been together a little while as well. As we feel good about this win and we look ahead, guys. This roster is the first year together. And look at what they're doing. Cut these guys some slack, man. We're riding the turbulence right now through the season, and we're coming out the other side. If these guys stick together, we make a couple of key additions in the summer, and then you got the core coming back. This team can make real noise. This team is making noise right now, fam. And we talk about the bench now. As we summarize the starting grades, I'm going to get some quotes from the locker room. Stick with us, fam. We've got 70 people rocking out in the building. Salute to you. What a series. Well, the playoffs have been fun so far, and it helps when you have a great team, man. It really does make this thing so much more fun when you have guys you can root for. They're good guys. Yeah, some of them have their flaws, but right now, every team has their flaws. That's what I've been trying to talk about Boston. They are close to a perfect team, but even then they have flaws. And if you can capitalize on those flaws, you have a chance. And let's see. I think they won their championship last year. The locker room is kind of hearing that there's going to be changes. That can be unsettling for a team trying to repeat. For a team trying to go back to back. They're really testing their depth, right? They ain't no world beaters, fam, right? If you can catch a break, especially with the whistles. Look, 3 fouls on Cornet early. What did they do? They're in trouble. 2 fouls early on Al Horford. Who else did they have, man? They're not going to dust off Neemias Keita and Xavier Tillman, man. That's basically like Precious and Huck Porty for us, maybe to a lesser extent. And so Horford's 37, 38 years old. Cornet has made some improvements, but they are far from world beaters, man. Their depth ain't great. They are very reliant on their excellent starting five, Boston. And you see now with an injury to Hauser and you see an injury to Kristaps, it's more of a level playing field right now. The Knicks just have a chance to really capitalize on this thing. We hear CT, says Michael Drake. I see you. We hear Doug Fresh says New York never give up. Let's go Knicks. Everybody put us down all the years. Haters, we are ballin'. So happy right now. Yeah, we're earning it. No game's easy right now. We won our series 4-2. We did it scrappy, but we won 4-2. Boston won their series 4-1. There really wasn't that much in it. AP says, if the Knicks do the impossible, could we beat the Pacers or OKC? Listen, man, let's take it game at a time. But obviously, if we were to be able to win this series, then we could beat anyone. Health permitting. If we are able to beat a Boston, you can beat anyone. I mean, Boston are capable. Now we might require some luck. It might require an injury. But you take it. Like I said, this year, we weren't expected to win a championship, but the closer that we get, the more these guys believe, and belief is key. Maybe the outside world doesn't believe, but these guys in the locker room believe. I mean, I see Mikal Bridges, guys. He's playing with a chip because you notice his demeanor has changed since the playoffs began. You know, he's swearing on the post game with Mike Breen. He's dropping the S bomb. His short-worded answers in the post game. He's really stone-faced when he's looking down the barrel of the camera right now. This could be playoff Mikal right now. He's dialed in. He's a guy looking for a bag as well. He's a guy looking for that contract right now, and I'm seeing a different kind of version of Mikal right now, man. Man, the vibes must have been crazy at MSG tonight, and you know they're going to be crazy for Game 3. Game 3 and Game 4 at Madison Square Garden now has to be the hottest ticket in town right now. There's going to be all sorts of crazy scalping going down to try to get into that building, man, for Game 3 and Game 4, man. Because at the bare minimum, the series is going to be tied heading in to Game 3, ladies and gentlemen, at Madison Square Garden, fam. And for Game 2, get yourself into the building if you can, right? The watch party would be absolutely buzzing right now. Before we start on the bench, quick update on Boston. Injury update. Porzingis with illness was questionable to return and did not return. So, Joe Mazzulla not taking any chances. He did look rusty early. You know, he was missing some bunnies. Was KP, and so we wait to find out, man. But how satisfying, man, was that 30-31-11 run, man? Inject that into our veins. Mets Knicks fan, let's go, says Bridges is locked in. Super locked in, I think. Big Dave says, I like this version of Bridges as well. Yeah, if he starts hitting that 3 ball, man, I mean, we're super dangerous, really. And as AP asked that question about Oklahoma, I really remembered the early game in Oklahoma. Remember Bridges in that Oklahoma game against in Oklahoma earlier in the season? He was lit that night. He was playing great. He was one of our best players, I believe. As Mikal Bridges just played great on the road. And so I really feel like if there's another version, another level of Bridges, hey, I'll welcome that, man, with open arms. We will welcome that. Maybe he was saving some of the effort, in his locker for the postseason, right? Most of the Tibbs players, see, they're used to Tibbs. They sell out for the regular season. Mikal Bridges is not a Tibbs kind of guy, as we know from the quotes. But not being a Tibbs guy, maybe he's like one of those guys that goes 80% in the regular season and is able to raise his game another 20% when the playoffs hit. Because Hart and Brunson and that, they leave it all out there in the regular season. But if Mikal is a guy that has another 20% to go to another level, that could be a game changer, man. That could be a difference maker, man. That will be. But yeah, absolutely incredible swing right now. I'm going to bring this up on the graphic. But yeah, the Knicks were down 55 to 75. Ended up winning, and that was 5 minutes in the third. Ended up winning by 3 in overtime, man. What a swing. As Jalen Brunson, man, went into TD Garden and took a dump right there at center court. Fam, he went out there and took a big dump. Chris Gotti says, CT, I have faith in this team. KP had a tummy ache. Yeah, appreciate the update on that one. What's good, AJ in the house? Michael Drake says ESPN, TNT, SNY, NBA all said that the Celtics will win. Yeah, Chuck as well. Yeah, ESPN predicted 11-0. It'd be amazing if anyone switches things up. Right. Look, most people will expect Boston to bounce back, right? We all expect Boston will bounce back. But I think it would be disingenuous to say that the Knicks don't have a chance now. They always had a chance, right? This isn't a team that won, 35 games. This is a team that won 51 games. And if you follow us for a long time, you'll know, man. If you rock with us, you would have seen my preview. And in my preview, one of the first things that I said was that look at the Knicks home record versus the Boston home record. It was basically the same, basically identical. The Celtics only won one more game at home against the New York Knicks. It's where they took care of business was on the road. They won those 8 extra games on the road, I think, than the New York Knicks. And that's the star power, that's the depth. At the end of the day, these teams are very close, man. There's not much in it. If you execute the game plan, you know, also when the lights are bright, you know, we're seeing it before, guys. Not everybody can show up. One of the reasons I believe we'll win a championship now with Jalen Brunson is because it don't matter how bright the lights get, right? He's going to perform, you know. Patrick Ewing, Carmelo Anthony, Willis Reed, Walt Clyde, Bernard King, a handful of Knicks that perform when the playoffs are here. Their game goes to another level. J.I. says, hey, CT, great game. Big Bridges fan, so happy for him. Maybe now this will keep the haters silent. Some of the haters silent. No doubt it will, man. I think everyone's going to be giving Mikal his praises, man, giving him his props. His focus is there, man. He's locked in. And that's all I can ask for, man. I can live and die with shots being missed, man. But it's the effort that we wanted to see. Look at the talk. He's talking smack now. Maybe that's some of PJ Tucker campaign. Someone's bringing that dog out of Mikal Bridges. But whoever it is, credit to them as well. AP says to CT, does Tibbs have to get out of the second round? Yeah, I mean, I get that question every stream, fam. I get that question every single stream. We have to get out of the second round. I mean, that's the goal. That's the goal. I hate looking too far ahead. That's just me. I'm riding and dying with every single game, man. These games are up for grabs. Now's the time where you just have to focus and execute. If we get through this round, Thibodeau is staying 100%. You can't fire Thibodeau if he beats Boston. If he doesn't win the series, it'll be dependent on how the rest of the series goes, But so far, so good. So far, so good. If we can improve of our offense, I think that's my biggest issue with Tibbs. If we can get some X's and O's and good plays going, Thibodeau's defense has shown that it can get to a good level. But offensively, if we can really, fluster the Boston Celtics, and that's a good sign, man. That's a very good sign. You know what else is a good sign? Deuce McBride hitting shots off the bench, man. 4 of 8, 3 of 6 from downtown. Deuce McBride, man, where have you been? We missed you. We missed you, Deuce Miles McBride. He was swishing early. Going to bring up some of the shots from Deuce. Where we at? Yep, OG to Deuce. This one. He was splashing. I think, when that big 3 went down, I thought, man, Deuce has definitely been practicing. And so great game from Deuce McBride, man. 11 points off the bench. We need that. We need points like the desert needs water. And I feel like Deuce McBride helped us win with that. So really solid performance from Deuce McBride. So he'll get a B+ from me. Talk about winning matchups. Him versus Peyton Pritchard. I've got to check the full box score, but I really don't think Peyton Pritchard was a factor tonight. Really, he hit a couple shots. He was active during the Celtics run, But I really feel like, Deuce McBride's 11 points, kind of cancel that out. So, yeah, that's a big tick, a major plus for the New York Knicks for Deuce McBride to cancel that matchup alongside Peyton Pritchard, right? That's a long way to winning this series, right? If we can win the bench battle, and don't forget, Mitchie was impactful, but they went for the hacker Mitch to try to get him out of the game, And Cornet, after that and one dunk or the putback, Cornet went missing. Cornet went missing after that. And so I'm looking at the matchups, fam. Jalen Brunson won the Drew Holiday matchup, right? Mikal Bridges versus Derek White. Bridges made bigger plays late. We won that matchup. Karl Anthony Towns versus Tatum. At a minimum, that's a scratch. OG versus Brown. OG pretty much won that matchup, fam. 29 points. Hart versus Porzingis. We won that matchup, definitely. You could say maybe Horford. Horford won that matchup versus Mitchie. So maybe Boston won one, maybe two matchups, if that. This is an insane victory from the New York Knicks. And exactly as you see in my pre-game analysis, I said if the Knicks can win as many matchups as possible, individual 1-versus-1 matchups, then they can win the series right now. When push comes to shove, it's talented team versus talented team. And I think the Knicks can stack up. Yeah, we've got big time fans in the house, 50 years, 60 years. Shout out to you. SF Wisdom says, hope they stop calling those weak fouls. Yeah, I feel like tonight was a massive overcorrection, man, from the first round series. I think the NBA definitely put through the message. They're like, hey, this is box office for us for ratings. We don't want dudes getting hacked and whacked and getting taken out of the series due to injury. Let's let these guys let's let the superstars shine and get those buckets. Fam. First round, they were happy to let Detroit muddy it up. They were happy to let Orlando muddy it up against Boston. But I feel like they put through that memo, fam, and said, let's start to tighten up these whistles. So yeah, Deuce McBride with the B+ off the bench. As we start to look ahead now, guys, let us know what you would want to see for Game 2, man. Are they going to go back to Hakamichi? If he can spend the next, 36 hours practicing those free throws and get that percentage up to 65, 70, maybe that'll deter Joe Mazzulla from stopping the Hakamich. We'll see. But something tells me they will go back to it. Are they going to adjust to the Karl Anthony Towns post-ups? Let's see. Are they going to start to double Jalen Brunson? I was kind of feeling like they were going to start to double, but they didn't. That was such a surprise, fam. Mitchell Robinson with 3 points, but 7 rebounds was a +13. Look how impactful Mitchie was, man, in 20 minutes. +13, team high in 20 minutes. 7 bounds, 1 offensive, 1 foul, no turnovers. Got all of his 3 points at the free throw line, 3 of 10, 30%, man. Even if he goes 50%, man, even if he goes 60%, right, he's a +15 in the box score. So impactful that Joe Mazzulla just has to foul him to try to get him off the floor, man. He knows that Luke Cornett, old man Horford, he's a handful for those guys. So let's see, man. I want to give Mitchie the grade because outside of the free throws, he was very impactful, man, on the plus. I'll give Mitchie a B in this one. Saw some good and bad and some ugly, but mostly on the positive tonight. The free throws is the ugly, of course. The rebounds is the very good. 8 rebounds, 20 minutes. He's going to get points. They're going to foul him. It's going to get other guys in foul trouble. Let's see. I think Boston are the first team that have to make an adjustment. And just saying that is kind of so unexpected. Everyone expected the Knicks to get blown out. Okay, Thibodeau is going to have to make a big adjustment for game 2. What is it going to be? Well, now we're talking about, I think Joe Mazzulla has to be the first coach to make a major adjustment, or double down, stick to his guns and foul Mitchie again. But like I said, that's going to slow the game down. It's going to take their shooters out of their rhythm. It's going to allow the Knicks to get rest. These guys are playing major minutes, and guys like Bridges, Hart, Brunson. If you keep fouling, it keeps slowing the tempo down. Boston were the team with a faster tempo than the Knicks, not us. And if they want to slow it down, then I think that could hurt Boston. Definitely, man. Cardiac 5-0 on the road is what I want to see. Best believe that, man. Also, we're the Game 1 Kings. Fam, we are the Game 1 Kings. Going all the way back past few seasons against Cleveland, Miami, last year against Philadelphia, Indiana, and then this season, Detroit, snatching game 1. Let's go on with it now, fam. These guys came into the building smiling, confident. Like I said, I'm going to give Detroit plenty of credit because I think putting us through a really tough series can help you, right? The fact that Boston went through kind of a easier series with more rest and more of a layoff, you see some rust. No rust from our guys tonight, man. They were straight into the fire in this one. So shout out to our guys. Precious, kind of an incomplete. Precious played 5 minutes, -7. Campaign 3 minutes as well. Looked to be struggling a bit. Missed both of his free throws as well. Did Campaign. So that is something that's unexpected too. Payne missing both free throws. The Knicks going 17 of 31, man. We would have won this game in regulation if we had actually hit our free throws. But shout out to Brunson, 6 of 7. Cat, 2 of 2. OG, 3 of 4 as well. And so just a phenomenal effort from our guys, right? Campaign, Precious Achua, right? You guys get a pass because we win. But look at these heroes on screen right now, man. And the series is alive as the New York Knicks take game 1 in Boston, man. Daras, salute, says Operation Shock and Awe. Yeah. Operation Take Us Seriously. Don't disrespect us, man. Jalen Brunson, one of the best players in the NBA right now, period. Point blank. Also, the difference in regular season and the difference in playoff basketball, ladies and gentlemen, right now. The Knicks were 0-10 versus top 3 teams this season, right? We had goofy accounts clown us. Legion, whatever that Legion Hoops thing, clowning us for engagement, trying to fill their bank accounts with Knicks for clicks, losing all these games throughout the regular season. We had Cleveland fans chirp up right now. Maybe we were just basically playing with these dudes. Playoff basketball is a different thing, and you never count out the heart of these guys, man. Hart, Brunson, OG, McCall, Cat. They definitely took that as motivation, big chip. big chip on their shoulders, man. You know, Frank Isola is having a field day with that as well. He's clapping back. Frank Isola says, when does this 1 for 11 versus Boston, Cleveland, and OKC factor in? You know, he's the number one Tibbs guy, is Frank Isola, Tibbs defender, and definitely he's relishing, he's reveling in this victory, fam, as well. Outside Madison Square Garden, absolute bedlam. You got Magic Johnson saying, what a comeback victory in overtime from these Knicks led by OG and Brunson, who both finished with 29. Two guys that deserve a lot of credit for the victory were Mikal Bridges and Miles McBride. Mikal's defense was superb as the Knicks win 4 straight road playoff games as well. And Mikal Bridges managed to play 51 minutes, but still managed some of the biggest game plays of the game. Like I said, you know, the game was stopping, breaks in between, timeouts. Guys were getting their rest with the Hakamichi, you know. Justin Termine says, Tibbs playing his guys huge minutes all year is a good thing, not bad. Knicks spent all season training their bodies for big minutes for important games. Meanwhile, on other teams, it's a shock to the system when all of a sudden guys need to play 40 minutes. So that's big time. Vincent Goodwill says, we say a lot of times a team stole game 1 and it doesn't always apply. The Knicks stole game 1 in Boston. So yeah, he's on the Detroit side. He's still salty. Tim Bontemp says, what a wild game in Boston. The Knicks had to pull that one out after the way the regular season series went. Far from the first time Boston has fallen into a rut shooting from deep, and it's given the Knicks a huge boost of life in this series. We have some quotes from Jay Hart in that locker room as well. Hart says, it took us a little while to figure out how this series is going to be. We got beat with bats for 6 games, so we brought our bats here. Josh Hart talks about the Knicks adjusting to this series after a physical first round matchup. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we rope-a-dope the East, says Rye. Yep. AJ says Deuce was key in that comeback, down 20. This is a different series for him, and yes, he must outplay Pritch or at least neutralize him. Most definitely. And I think, yeah, he took that pride. He took it personally in this one tonight, as all of our guys did. But yeah, I think there's definitely something to read into the fact that the Knicks are battle-tested, you know, after such a tough series, you know, heading in. But just unbelievable graphic in this one. The OG poster and 1, man. Look at that. That is crazy right there. They finally called an and 1 on a dunk. That was crazy. You know, Hart was getting smashed in the last series on these dunks. But OG finally got the and 1 in this one. And yeah, the referees were tight. The referees were tight on the whistle. We'll do a quick score check, fam, from the Nuggets OKC series. And OKC is up 73 to 64 with 6 to play in the third. So Oklahoma have that early jump by 14 points, man. And winning on the road isn't for everyone. You know, winning on the road as the underdog is not for everyone. So yeah, great performance from our guys. Unbelievable grit and determination. To be down 20, I mean, a lot of people were giving up. Some people were saying they were going to switch it off. But you never switch off with this team. Never. People saying the Knicks defense were hitting a level we haven't seen all season. Yeah, I think that comes with doing the homework on this team. Like I said, you don't get beaten 4 times by this team without learning something. You know, and it just becomes a lot easier without Chris Porzingis. You know, the activity from the New York Knicks defense was something special. It really was. What a performance from our guys. So we have some people trying to clown the Knicks as well still, but they're eating crow with this one as the Knicks have shocked the world. Michael Drake, Mikal Bridges does get his flowers. Yep, he does. I'm happy. I'm happy for him to step up on this stage. Had some ups and downs in the Detroit series, but however, he's made huge plays down the stretch in 2 games now. The last one in Detroit and this one tonight. So you got to be more confident. I'm more confident now than ever. Obviously, winning game 1, I predicted the Celtics in 6, but I said if the Knicks win, it'll be in 7. And obviously, it's probably a flip of the coin between a Knicks in 7, Boston in 6. But I mean, it's all to play for right now, man. The Knicks can play loosey-goosey. Who knows? We could catch fire in game 2 again and be in a close game. And that would really, really swing the pendulum, man. I know you guys probably been looking at the odds as well. I do believe in, deeper meaning in the way that the line bets are played and the odds. We had like Boston, minus 1,000, or was it the Knicks? The Knicks were plus 1,000 in this series in the betting, and whenever it gets like that askew, there's definitely something to pay attention to. Boston are up against the 3rd seed. They're not up against a team that's like a play-in team. And for the Knicks to be, plus 1,000 or Boston to be minus 1,000, it was definitely like a bit crazy, in my opinion. So now you're going to have the betting line kind of, okay, come back to normal. The betting line is going to kind of come back to maybe the way it should have been early, and we'll see how that plays out. Let's hear from Zach Lowe. Let's hear from Zach Lowe on this victory. He appreciates what he saw. Zach Lowe says chalk it up to shooting luck. There was some of that, but New York Knicks wings, especially Anunoby Bridges, were awesome, darting in and out of driving lanes when JT and JB attacked mismatches, when flying out to shooters. There's a difference between fly-by threes and a clean catch and shoot 3. So yeah, the activity levels was major, was big time. Big Dave says Cat got knocked down to the floor going to the hoop many times tonight with no fouls. Shake my head. Yeah, I feel like that one where I think the Derek White block, I struggle to feel like Derek White got a clean block on that one. Cat definitely looked like he got bodied, man. And then the other one where Cat sort of went into traffic, yeah. I feel like there's an agenda against Cat, like point blank. There's a bias against Cat. Maybe it's because the refs don't like him. Maybe it's because he complains a lot throughout the regular season. We'll see how that all plays out. Some more stats coming up for you all. It's extended post game. You're rocking out with the Knicks Streets. Smash that like button. The Celtics missed more threes than the Knicks shot threes tonight. So there is a lot in that. The Celtics did miss threes, but got to give the Knicks defense credit. A lot of those threes were forced, in my opinion. It comes down to, Boston just want to get threes up just for the sake of it. There's a reason no other teams in the NBA shoot just as many threes as Boston, because they hunt them, and eventually it could come back to bite you. in a really meaningful game. Like, dictate the threes, shoot them when they're there. But if you constantly jack extended line threes, you have to live with the consequences, man, if you can't rebound. Also, the Mikal Bridges narrative, 5 first-round picks. Right now, it's F those picks. F them picks. Well, unbelievable, man. What a turn of narrative right now. Frank Isola says the Knicks won 51 games during the reg, and it was treated like it was meaningless because of their record versus top 3 teams. Meanwhile, they're 4-0 on the road in the playoffs, while Cleveland is in trouble, and Boston may be close behind. Is Isola speaking facts on that one? There's some ways to go in this series, but definitely he has a point about Cleveland, and he definitely has a point about the Knicks, 51 games. The Knicks had a lot of success at home. The same level of success that Boston had, at home. Michael Drake says Mikal Bridges said F those picks. Stanley says we need to get Cat transition 3-point shots, push the pace, because Horford can't guard Cat in space. Yep, definitely. The betting line was disrespectful, Big Dave. Yep, definitely, man. Some people get a chance to capitalize on that. AP says game 1 and game 5 are always the biggest. Yeah, game 1 is always the easiest to steal, I feel. But I disagree that we stole this game, right? Yeah, we were heavy underdogs, so if you want to say it from that perspective. But in terms of the way the game went, I don't think the Knicks stole the game. As in, I don't think it was like a smash and grab. I feel like the Knicks earned this win. You don't go down 20 and steal a game. That's just nonsense, right? If you're down by 20 against one of the best teams in the league, you have to damn well fight your way to get back, and hit shots. That's just the way that it goes, man. Yeah, our guys, man, what a fight back. You never give in. And I've always said Boston's probably biggest vulnerability is their lack of focus. They can get ahead of themselves. I feel like no doubt the building, the fans, you had people tweeting that the Knicks stink. It's going to be a sweep. I bookmarked a few of those tweets from Boston outlets. When they're up 20, they're like, okay, this is going to be easy. We're gonna blow this team out. But that's when the Knicks strike back. When you lose focus and go up 20, you better close the Knicks out, because they will come back. They will fight back. In the best way possible. Right now, man, just a sweet victory. To lose all of these games in the regular season, but to not let that worry about us. Okay, so we have some words from Joe Mazzulla, trying to use some excuses as well. Save his blushes. No doubt the fan base is going to be pissed off at him. Joe Mazzulla says he was trying to call time out with 8 or 9 seconds left in OT, but the referees did not see it. I mean, I didn't see it, so I didn't see it. The referees, whether they did or didn't see it, I don't know if you can blame that, because 20-point lead, man, you blew that lead, ladies and gentlemen, and you blew your wad as well with the 45 threes, right? And you bricked tonight. They shot a lot of bricks, and so yeah, the Knicks capitalized as well. I'm hype. We'll hear from Mikal and OG right now, and from Tibbs. Let's bring up those quotes right now. Tibbs says OG was terrific the whole game. The thing I don't want to overlook, Josh was terrific as well. Cat had foul trouble, but the rebounding and making tough plays at the end was huge for us. Same could be said for Mikal. Mikal Bridges talks about getting the steal on Jaylen Brown to seal the Knicks win. I was just watching my eyes. I'm a football guy. So there we have it. Midi Mikal locking in, keeping his eyes locked on the prize. OG Anunoby, 29 points, 6 of 11 from 3. The Knicks have 5 consecutive wins when he drops 25 plus. The OG Demon. So the New York Knicks are riding the success that OG is having, man, offensively. And I'm absolutely loving it. What a player. You know, what a two-way demon. Let's get ready to wrap this thing up, man. The hype is real. The New York Knicks are the real deal. Winning game 1 in Boston. Man, salute to the squad, first and foremost. The work is not done. Let's take game 2, man. Let's put them under more pressure and see if they can wilt. It ain't easy to repeat, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, there's buzz in that locker room right now that they might blow things up in the off season. But right now, the New York Knicks are fighting for their life. Tonight they did, and they buckled down, man, and showed the world that they are to be taken seriously. Serious team. And the Detroit Pistons put some respect on their name as well. People are like, oh, the Knicks, they were struggling to beat Detroit. I'm like, Detroit were a top 9 team. You know? But we brought our lunch pail. We got one more game in Beantown before we head back to the Mecca. Let's make it count. Let's make it count. And let's snatch their soul out. Let's snatch their heart out in this one, man. Knicks against the world, everyone. Peace. The streets are buzzing. Smash that like button. Peace, everyone.